If you're looking to build muscle and stay active and healthy, then join me on this workout. We're gonna be doing a full body workout starting with upper body exercises and then going to some lower body exercises. And today I'm excited to show you guys an exercise I thought about for using resistance bands with a bench press for that incline bench, working those upper fibers of the chest. So we're gonna start with that. So for this, you'll need an incline bench and a set of resistance bands. Now, I'm using a set of tube bands. So our tube bands with handles. And I'm gonna take that and just toss it underneath the bench, right about shoulder level. So for this exercise, normally the problem with the bands and the bench is they don't give you enough tension down here at the bottom of the movement, where I lose all that tension down here. But by bringing it up to an incline, I actually give myself a little bit less slack in the band, so I'm still able to keep that tension all the way through the entire movement of that bench press. So depending on the length of your band and the height of your bench, you want to try and position it so that you are feeling that tension pulling you down, even at the bottom part of this movement where your elbows are all the way down at the side. Now you might need to wrap the band once around the bench. I would say this one. So with this, doing a flat bench, I don't have enough tension in the band, but adding that extra incline gives me a little bit more distance from the base of the bench, so I'm able to get tension all the way through this movement, where I'm feeling that in my upper chest. Hey, Martina Murphy, welcome. Good to see you. So with this, the thing I'm really trying to make sure is I don't bring my hands in. They stay wide at about elbow width, pushing up towards the front and then back down. Now I like the band because if I ever get down here and get too tired to push it back up again as well, I can just let all the slack out of the band and then get out of this safely. How many reps? So the reps, I would say try and aim for around 10, but if you can do anywhere between 10 and 30 is okay. The important thing is you want to feel that fatigue build up in the chest. So you want to feel tired, you want to feel that a little bit of burning feeling where you're challenging the muscle. So the exact number of reps are not required. You don't have to say, oh, I have to do 10, I have to do 30, but you want to find the number that is tiring to the muscle to you. Now, if it's below 10, I usually like to go for a little lighter of a band because I've gone too heavy too fast. So we just worked the chest, so I'm also going to work the back because I wanted to balance between the front and back muscles. So for that, I'm going to do a standing row. So I wrap the band right at about shoulder height. So right about shoulder or chest level. And I'm gonna start with my hands all the way on front with my thumbs pointed in. Now for me, I'd like to work a little bit more of these muscles between the shoulder blades. So because of that, pointing my thumbs in gets me a little bit more of that horizontal row where I'm pinching the shoulder blades together, pulling down and back. And that's gonna work a little bit more of those traps, which are between the shoulder blades, a little bit less of the lats. Now, the important thing is I'm going all the way out to the front. So Martina, how long for muscle growth? So the way that, it depends on your genetics, but usually you could expect somewhere around 1/4 pound per week, depending on a lot of factors like nutrition, sleep, and your individual genetics. But usually that's about the level you could expect to see at max if everything is working out correctly. So a lot of people expect pounds and pounds of muscle per week. It doesn't change that fast. Your body is slow to grow that, but it's about that constant week after week, adding little bits of muscle over your entire body. So that's why we're doing a full body workout, trying to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. So we're burning that, or we're burning calories while we work out, but that's not really what's losing fat. It's much more about how much are we eating. But the big thing that we're doing during a workout is actually making our muscles more insulin sensitive and pulling nutrients into those muscles instead of into the fat. So that's exactly body composition. So we're adding to that muscle during that workout, or adding to that muscle by working out. So I'm going to shift to a little bit heavier of a band. Now, what I like about bands is if you ever need to add more weight, you just add an additional band. And it's just that simple to go to the next level weight. So what I like to do is aim for between 2 and 3 sets on any exercise I'm trying to maintain. And the more sets we do, the more that muscle builds. So I'm trying to, if I do between 6 and 9 sets a week for a muscle, it'll help maintain and maybe grow it a little bit. So from here, I'm gonna push my chest out, pinching my shoulder blades together. I should feel that tension pulling me down all the way down here at the bottom, so my chest is really engaged. And the more sets I do of an exercise, the more that muscle will grow. So if I'm trying to prioritize a particular muscle, I'm gonna do 4 or 5 sets per workout to really emphasize that muscle. Last I checked, the research said it's about 0.3% growth per set per muscle. Now that varies on a lot of factors, but it's like investing. The more sets you invest into a muscle, the more that muscle grows. So I'm trying to go all the way down here to the bottom where my hands are right at shoulder level almost, where I've fully bent those elbows down. I should feel that really engaging my chest up here on the clavicle. So I'm keeping my hands wide enough where they're at elbow width. I'm not letting them collapse in where I lose all that tension. And I'm going until I feel that burning in the muscle. I'm trying to push my back arched up, so I'm pushing my shoulder blades into that bench. I really like that because I'm also feeling this stretch in my right shoulder as I'm going down, where I'm stretching that muscle while I'm strengthening it. You do 100 squats every day, most days. Wow, that's really impressive. Do you break that into sets of squats where it's like 20, 20, 20, and 20? That's a lot of squats though. That is very impressive, doing bodyweight squats. Good for you. Yeah, that is amazingly good because it strengthens your quads, it strengthens your glutes, your hips, all these muscles in your hamstring. That is such a 2 sets of 50. Wow. Wow. Good for you. And that's such an important muscle group to prioritize. That is so awesome. I hope that more people do that, where even just doing 2 sets every day like that does worlds of benefit to your low body. And if you think about it, your legs are your foundation. So if those are weak or if those start to go, then you stop being able to move and be able to be up and active. So what you're doing is maintaining all that muscle, keeping that muscle, and building even more muscle tissue in one of the most important muscle groups you have. So that's so great. I'm so proud of you. I think if more people did just squats every day, I think they would feel so much better. Now we are going to do a very similar exercise to that in just a minute. We're starting with upper body exercises and then we'll move to lower body exercises. So for this, we're going back to a row. I want this to be right about shoulder height. So laying this band, pull my shoulders forward, and then I'm gonna point my thumbs in, pulling to the back, keeping my hands at elbow width. So I don't want my hands to come together. I want to keep them wide. So I'm keeping tension on that muscle the whole time. So I'm pinching my shoulder blades back and together, trying to really let those trap muscles engage, the muscles between the shoulder blade. I would say doing 50 can take a long time. Have you ever tried doing a single leg squat and moving to a little bit, that's a little bit more challenging version? What are the benefits of upper body strength? So upper body strength helps still with lifting and carrying. So if you think about like lifting something up onto a shelf, so the incline press is that same muscle group, that pushing muscle group. So if I had something I was carrying, like a heavy box that I needed to lift up onto a shelf or a closet shelf, then I would be able to actually get it up into that range without injuring my shoulders or dropping the box. So it all depends on what do you want to do and building the muscles that help support that. I would say I wouldn't want to neglect any of the muscles because it's also your body's ability to store nitrogen, which is used in a lot of other cells. So the muscles are really important beyond just movement. They're also your body's sort of bank of nitrogen. And things like your chest muscles actually aid in respiration or breathing. So if those stay strong, it can help in forced respiration. So I personally don't like to neglect any muscle in particular. I try and keep all of my muscles active and healthy, and I just feel better doing that. A lot of people don't realize too the effect tight chest muscles have on their posture, and as those muscles go into disuse, it can tighten and shorten. And that affects your low back, it affects your posture. And so I think it's important to maintain all of your muscles to try and keep everything working together smoothly. Because your whole body influences other parts of your body. So how your head is positioned changes how your hips have to move too. Because it's your center of mass is always affected by your head. Also, a lot of people don't know this, but your lats, the muscles in your shoulder and upper back, actually attach all the way down to your hips. So I've actually had low back pain before that came from my lats being tight. Can't just work one part of your body. You want to try and make sure everything is in balance. Now, I would say that if you're just going to only have time to work one thing, legs are a great place to prioritize, because if your legs are weak, it makes everything else harder to move around, to get up, to get down, to get up, to walk. Everything else is so much harder when your legs are not strong. Biceps are 14.5 inches. Nice. Let's see, how big is that? So is that something that you want to increase, or are you happy with where that's at? That's total, I don't know off the top of my head how big that is. So from this, wide hands, pushing up towards the ceiling. I'm trying to keep my shoulder blades back and down, arching my back to push off that bench. You're looking to increase it? All right, we'll cover a bicep exercise for isolation in just a second. The row will build some biceps, but it also works a lot of muscles all at once. So if we want to increase our bicep size, I can show you a way to do that with bands in just a second. Because we will do some arm exercises next. So this is a compound movement. It works a lot of muscles all at once. We're working that upper chest muscle and the triceps, as well as the front of the shoulder. And that was our third set of chest. So we're gonna do one more set of row to balance it out, and then we'll go into some arm exercises. So these do work the arms, but not as much as an isolation movement of the arm, where we're really prioritizing those bicep muscles. So this is working the traps, the lats, and some of the bicep. So you should feel it in those three places. I personally feel it most in the traps back here between my shoulder blades. And changing our grip from thumbs up to thumbs in emphasizes how much those traps feel this movement. So I'm actually prioritizing the traps with this. I'm trying for about 11 reps. So I feel tired by the last rep. So I want to feel that fatigue building up in. Bent over rows are hard to do, I agree. So for me, I found just looking at my form over the last week, I found that my bent over row is really not very good form because my hamstrings are so tight. So right now I'm working on stretching out my hamstrings to help my bent over row, but the band lets me target those same muscles in a bent over row, doing a row pull exercise without having to worry about my hamstring and lower back being too tight. So that's one of the advantages I like about bands and cables, is sometimes it lets you work around your limitations. All right, so now we're gonna prioritize the muscles in the arm. So we're gonna work the bicep in the front and the tricep in the back. So for this, I'm gonna step right in the middle of the band with one foot, and I'm gonna step forward with that foot because I want the band to be out in front of me. So make sure the band is securely underneath your foot. So I want my arms to be out flat. So I'm gonna lean back a little bit so I feel that tension right here on my bicep. So this is our starting position. This is where you wanna feel tension in, because that is the most muscle building part of a bicep curl. So you might need to tighten up the band by wrapping it one more time around your foot to give yourself enough tension where you feel that all the way through the movement. So from here, I'm going to bend my elbows up to the front of my shoulder and then back out straight. Now, a lot of people cheat themselves out of half this rep where they only come back to here, where they do sort of these half reps like this. I want you to go all the way down to where you have high tension in that bicep. Now, if it hurts on the inside of your elbow, go to a lighter band or a lighter weight, but you still wanna go all the way down out like this, because that's where you're building the most muscle and we're training the tendon. If it hurts here, it means your tendon is reacting to that level of weight. Try a lighter weight and see if that goes away, where that stops hurting. And then we're training our tendon as well as our muscle to be stronger. A lot of people can build up their tendon strength by doing this as well. One of the difficulties of steroids, and I do not recommend using steroids. I don't use any sort of testosterone or anything like that. And one of the reasons is the side effect of it is your tendons don't grow as quickly as your muscles do, so that people can actually tear that tendon. So that's one of the things we want to actually make sure we're building strong tendons as well as strong muscles. So this is a bicep curl. I'm just leaning away a little bit to keep tension on that the whole time. All right, now we're gonna do an overhead press or overhead tricep extension. So I'm gonna step on one end of the band with one foot and then grab onto the fabric part of a resistance band. From here, I'm gonna bring this right behind my head. So my elbow is higher than my shoulder, okay? That's the important thing to get. You can do 20 push-ups in a row. Very nice, that's awesome. Push-ups are a great alternative to a bench press where we're working that tricep, that front of the shoulder, and that chest muscle all at once. It's a great body weight exercise. From here, I have my hand right behind my head. I'm gonna straighten out towards the ceiling. Should feel that right here in the back of my tricep working. Now lifting my elbow up higher really adds to that tension in the tricep muscle. So I'm really trying to keep that high up to keep that tension on the tricep the whole time. And same thing on the other side. I'm trying to step on the band at the same point on both sides so I keep even tension between the two, because bands are all about how much tension you're putting on, and that's going to determine how heavy it is. So this is working the other half of the bicep, that your bicep's on one side and then your tricep is on the other. You should feel that tension on the muscle the whole time. Swimming can be good. So swimming is great. I think it's a good thing. I would encourage you to also include resistance training with swimming, because you don't get the same type of muscle contraction in swimming. You get concentric movement where it's the muscle shortening, but you never get eccentric movement where the muscle is lengthening under load. And so because of that, you're missing out on a really important part of that muscle development. So it's great. I would never say swimming is a bad thing. I think that's such a good activity to be doing. And I would encourage to also include resistance training into that to help build healthy muscle that is able to be productive and work more effectively. So, and resistance training can actually help improve your swimming and swim speed as well. Because, for instance, swimming would be like doing just this half of the movement and then laying it off, and then this half of the movement and then letting it off, because of how the water resistance works. It's not bad, it's just not as complete as we would want it to be. Trying for 11 reps on each of these. So I'm picking a band that's heavy enough to challenge me by 11. Now, an advantage, running is great too, yeah. And both running and swimming are really good. It's what they prioritize and what the benefit you get from them is different from resistance training. It's both are good for their own reasons. Like running is very good for cardiovascular health, improving capillary density, especially to the heart, and something called VO2 max, which is increasing the amount of oxygen your body can utilize. And resistance training is very good for muscle health, and body composition. So if you're looking to maintain muscle health and bone health, one of the things that resistance training does very well also is bone health. Running Last I checked, the studies on it say that in general for hip bone density, running doesn't really, is not a large contributor for that. So you need to do things like squats and things that pull on those large bones of the hips to improve bone density and mineral density. And really, I think it's finding the things that work well for you. For me, I found that doing boxing was really good cardio, doing like punching on bags. I found that was more effective than running for me because I have a hard time with pacing myself, where I run everything like a sprint, which doesn't really do that well. So I do more interval training if I do running, where I do a sprint and then walk and then sprint and then walk, rather than trying to do jogging. Does anyone else have that problem where it's hard for them to pace a run? I think part of that might be because of just all the martial arts training I've done. We ran a lot more sprints than we did any sort of distance running. Yeah, each exercise type is good for its own specific goals. So it depends on each. Cam, I have done kilometer or kilometer. Are you saying you've done distance running? Let's see, what is a kilometer in miles? I don't remember that off the top of my head. So I'm trying to increase the muscle size in my arms. So because of that, I'm really prioritizing extra sets for these exercises. So I'm going to not stop at 3, I'm going to try and go to 4 or 5 of these sets of repeating this exercise over to increase the speed at which these muscles grow at. Because putting them under tension is signaling my body's biochemistry to actually build muscle and grow these fibers. So putting them under tension helps grow them. Now, something running is great for is your calf muscle, where you're building up that calf, especially that muscle down here in your leg. A lot of people don't know this, but your calf is actually your densest muscle in your body. It has the most number of what are called sarcomeres, which is the components of your muscle. Is cold weather or hot weather good for the body? So both have their unique challenges. If it's hot, your body is having to circulate more blood up to your skin to stay cool. So it can be more challenging on your heart to work out in hot weather, especially. So you can, and it's possible to overheat if you get dehydrated. I had that happen to me once where I was working in a pool, didn't realize that I was dehydrated, and then actually nearly got heat stroke because of it. So that would be the thing to watch out for in hot weather, but it can definitely be beneficial to sweat, to work on, train that system So I would say hot weather can be good. Cold weather, it usually, I would say is not as beneficial because your body is trying to pull all the blood into your core to be able to stay warm. So it takes a lot longer to warm up, takes more time to actually get going into a workout. So I'd say it's a little bit harder to actually work out when it's really, really cold. Got prickly heat in Singapore. Oh, I see. So yeah, you probably have, it's probably going to be harder to work out because especially if it's warm or hot out, but you're training your body to be able to deal with that more extreme temperature. So I would say it's better to be a little bit warm than it is too cold, but something about your body is it's actually more, you need to worry more about heat dissipation or losing heat than you do about staying warm once you get warmed up. So if you're looking to build muscle strength, a little bit cooler is better. If you're looking to build cardiovascular strength, probably a little warmer is better. But that's just my intuitive estimation of it. I would say the science that I've read on it, they did a study where they had people do pull-ups and found that cooling off their hands increased the number of pull-ups they could do in a set. So if you had to choose just one for resistance training, I would say get a little bit cooler. It's about 35 Celsius in Singapore. Wow, that's warm. Yeah, it is a lot cooler here. I can't do that math in my head to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. I think it would be closer to like 25, but I could be a little off on my numbers. I think it's like 60 degrees here right now. Choke up on this a little bit. So I'm trying to keep my elbow up high to keep tension on that the whole time. Probably makes it pretty easy to warm up though, to get your heart rate up, to get your joints ready to work. So when you work out, whether you're running or doing resistance training, you never want to go in completely cold. Forearms, good developed muscle. I can show an exercise for that in just a second. And it's getting tiring to get to that 11 mark. So for doing forearms, what I like to do is it starts the same way that the bicep curl does, but instead of curling from my elbow, I curl from my wrist. So I'm pulling up to the front, and that's working these muscles here in your wrist flexors. And then the other way is flip your hands around so that your palms are pointing down, and then pull up to the back. And that works the top of your forearm in those wrist extensors. Now, we're not gonna do sets of those today because they're kind of a small specific muscle group. But if you want to include them, what I would do is when you're working out, add a couple sets at the end of anything you do. So with, for instance, with your 50 squats, just grab a quick doing some extension and doing some flexion of the wrist. And you could also do that holding onto a weight or something like this, even something like a water bottle going up and then flip around the other way. Just make sure the cap's on. But it doesn't take a really heavy weight to start, especially. These are small muscles, and that'll help build up your forearms. I like the bands because they're really versatile, where you can do a lot of variety of exercises with them. So you could work your forearms, you could work a lot of different things. So if you're looking for a set of bands like what I have affiliate links down below that support the channel. So if you're looking to buy a set, if you click through my link, it doesn't cost you any extra, but it does help support the channel where I get a small cut of that. But if you have workout equipment that's working well for you, that's great too. I'm here to help in it whatever way I can. And that was set number 5. So the benefit of developing forearms. So if your forearms actually influence your grip strength. So as we don't want to lose the ability to grip, to hold on to things. And it's really part of being able to carry something, even holding onto a cup full of water. If your grip strength gets weak enough, you won't be able to hold on to even something like that. Now it's a very extreme example, but as we develop the forearms, it maintains your body's ability to grip and to hold things. So if I was to fall and go to catch myself, but my grip strength wasn't very strong, I still fall. So it's important to maintain that grip as well. So we can do a lot of different things like hanging, anything like that. Any sort of, say you're swimming, lifting yourself up out of the pool. So if you're holding onto that railing, pulling yourself up, if your grip strength's too weak, can't get up out of the pool. That would be really bad to be stuck in the pool. So it's, I think, good for a lot of things. You don't realize how important it is until it's gone. And then it's harder to get back. So I really think I am such an advocate of maintaining what you have, building what you have, because if you build it up, then it's that much harder to lose that strength as we get through. I don't want people to regret losing strength. I want people to be able to have strength and feel good and healthy all through their life. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing this channel, is because I want to help people build strength. I want people to build muscle, to feel good, and to live healthy. So I know for me personally, hey B2, Happy New Year, good to see you. For me personally, I feel so much better working out. My muscles feel better, my joints feel better, I don't ache as much. How was your New Year, B2? Good to see you. So that's why I care so much about showing people how to work out and to build muscle and strength. And to avoid injury. I know for me, I've gotten hurt a lot of different ways working out incorrectly. And I want to help people avoid doing that and build strength in a healthy way. For instance, for me, I did so many squats and training martial arts that I damaged my knee because I was putting so much extra stress on my knee. Great man, thanks for asking. How's your new year going? I'm about to leave for the gym in an hour. Hey, good for you getting to the gym. My new year is going great. It's actually been raining here, which is very nice. I love the rain. And so It's been a very rainy new year. How's your gym workouts going? I think last we talked, we were talking about figuring out options for working out without a gym, if I remember correctly. Have you found a good place to work out? That's hard on that 5th set. So, next we're gonna do actually some dumbbell exercises. I personally prefer dumbbells to do legs a little bit better than bands. That's the one limitation on bands, I think. Doing legs is hard because I would need to anchor them underneath my feet, but they can, it's just harder to get them to stay under tension. Yes, I got a good gym membership at Anytime Fitness. Oh, awesome. That's so cool. I'm gonna be doing triceps and back today with a little bit of forearm too. Excellent, excellent. Are you doing more machines, more dumbbells, or a combination of things? So, I'm gonna shift to a suitcase squat. So holding a dumbbell in each hand for a little bit of extra resistance. Martina says, I had a good Christmas, made lots of promises. Hey, nice. And here you are. I'm guessing some of those promises were about fitness. Is that true? I'm glad you had a good Christmas. Combination, but mostly cables. Love the stretch in those. Hey, that's awesome. I do really love cables as well. I do think cables are expensive, so I don't have any, but I think if you have access to them, they're one of the best pieces of equipment. So they have a lot of the advantages bands do. So hang on. So, but then they're just so flexible in what you can do with them, where they have a nice even force curve. So we're gonna do a suitcase squat. So your feet are about shoulder width apart. I'm gonna have my hands at my sides. I like this better than a high bar squat or a high squat because I feel like it puts less pressure on my low back. So from here, I'm gonna bend my knees, going as low as I can, trying to keep my chest up and then back up. So trying to almost set the dumbbells down on the ground and then back up. This is working those quads in the front, as well as the hamstrings and glutes in the back a little bit as well. Martina says, yes, trying to get abs for summer. Hey, awesome. I'm trying to get that as well. Right now I'm 38. I'm trying to get abs by 40. Now, that's gonna be a combination of building muscle, but also losing fat. So for me, I'm trying to lose about 1 pound a week of fat. So to do that, I'm losing 500 calories a day in deficit. So eating 500 less calories a day. I'm just going until I feel tired in my legs. Okay, B2 says, because at home I could only do with dumbbells, tried to maintain maximum stretch with each exercise. That's awesome, good for you. But then with cables, because I'm in the gym, it's a whole lot better, I agree. Dumbbells, you can do a great exercise with them, great workout with them, but cables really let you customize each movement. Is fruit good for fasting? So, I would say yes, there's a lot of really good foods. Fruit is a great food because it's usually vitamin rich. It's a good source of carbs. It usually has fiber, which helps fill you up. Excuse me a moment. So fruit is great because it helps fill you up with that extra fiber where you feel full, and that helps keep your appetite in check. So your stomach feels full, your body feels good, you'll feel better because that space is filled up with something, and fruit is really good for that without being especially high calorie. Depending on the fruit, some fruits like bananas are really dense, and so they don't fill you up necessarily as much as something like strawberries and blueberries, which are a little bit lower calories, so it does depend on the fruit. The important thing is though, no matter what you eat, is you want to be underneath the amount of calories your body is needing to then where it dips into the fat reserve. So if you're looking to lose weight, it's not only about the food choice, but how much food you're eating. That's actually the more important part, is how much are you eating total? Some foods will help you with that, like having high protein foods, high volume foods like squash and fruits and vegetables like that are higher volume. I found for me, I started eating oatmeal in the morning because it fills up a lot of space per calorie, and that helps keep me fuller for longer. So I'm not someone who really gets hungry that much, but I found that oatmeal was a good option for that for me. So now we're going to do a stiff-legged deadlift, or a two-legged golf pickup is the other name I call this. Pineapple is good. Yeah, I love pineapple. I probably eat pineapple every day, if not every other day. So at least 4 times a week. You have cousins that live in North Carolina. Oh, very nice. It's probably pretty cold there right now, isn't it? So for this, I'm gonna do a slight bend in my legs. I'm gonna be working primarily those hamstring muscles in the back of my hips, and then also some of the glutes in the back of my hips as well. I know this might be an awkward question, but Greg, would you suggest focusing on workout while working out in the gym, given your struggle a bit with stress or depression or mental health? So let me see if I understand that correctly. Just focusing on working out while working out in the gym. So I would say that I don't struggle with depression. So it's definitely very, I'm not positive that how that's going to affect if you are struggling with depression. I would say that exercise helps release endorphins, which can help with mood and feeling better. So focusing on a workout in the gym, I think that's a really effective way of helping support mental health, along with other, depending on where it's coming from, I think it can't hurt. I think studies have shown that working out can help manage some of the symptoms of anxiety and depression, but those also can be addressed in other ways as well. I have too much cold fever, sir. Cold fever, sir, what do I do? Please tell me. That's a little bit outside my expertise on having a fever. I would go get that checked by someone with medical expertise. So I'm not a doctor. I can't help you with that, unfortunately. It's kind of like not liking to go to the gym, but still going to gym even when I'm not feeling like it because of mental health. Oh, I see. I think that's something really so good for your mental. For me personally, even when I don't feel like it, going to the gym, I find that I actually come away feeling better, even if I am not able to work as hard, not able to accomplish the workout I was planning to do. Just the step of going to the gym and trying, I think is so helpful with that and helps my mood improve. So that I would recommend, even if you're not feeling that great that day, trying and giving yourself a chance, because even that is a success of giving it a try and seeing if you can. You're alone at home? Sorry, I can't help you with that, Abishai. I would, yeah. That is outside my expertise on fever. So for our stiff-legged deadlift, what we're gonna do is slight bend in the knee, back straight. I'm gonna push my hips out to the back. I should feel that tension on my hamstrings in the back of my thigh, and then back up. So with this, I'm not only strengthening my hamstrings, I'm also stretching them in, so I'm strengthening them in that stretch position. So I'm really trying to drive my hips back. So something I found for this, keeping your entire foot, so toes and heels on the ground, really helps keep that force through the glutes and hamstrings. So I'm trying to not bend from my back, I'm trying to push my hips back and keep my feet solidly on the ground to really stretch out those hamstrings. I found for me, these muscles are really tight, and so this is a good exercise to help stretch out those upper hamstrings especially. Now as you go, you might be able to get a little lower each time, just as long as you're still keeping your back flat. I've pulled my hamstrings in the past doing martial arts, so they tend to get tighter easier. So two family going to America to see family in North Carolina. Oh, very cool. It's gotta be quite a difference to go from Singapore to Carolina though at this time of year. It's gonna be a pretty big temperature change. Now, I feel like it's tighter on my left than it is my right. My left leg is tighter, so I'm only going as low as my left leg can go. So I'm not compensating and twisting. There's a real effective exercise. I still remember doing this back in the day for football. Absolutely, B2, I agree. There is definitely exercise has a big effect on your brain and your mood. It releases neurochemicals into your body as well. Something also, I read a study about exercising with a friend will actually release more endorphins than exercising alone. So sometimes having a workout buddy can make a big difference in endorphins, which help you feel better, they're actually the body's natural painkiller. And they can give you a feeling of euphoria, or some people call that a runner's high. That's what that chemical is. So working out is effective for a lot of things. All right, we're gonna do one more set of suitcase squats. At first I thought he was a priest doing a workout. I know this mic does make it look like I'm a priest. I didn't think about that when I got this, but it is kind of funny. So I am a Christian, but I'm not a Catholic. I'm not a priest, but it does look like I have a priest collar for sure. So from here, feet about shoulder width apart, hands at my sides, keeping my back straight. So I'm not laying my back round at all. I'm trying to keep straight and tall to keep my chest up. From here, I'm gonna bend my knees, going as low as I can, still trying to keep that chest up, working the muscles in my quads, the front of my thigh right here. Now this is great for your knees. The big thing is you wanna make sure you're keeping your knees in line with your toes, so don't let them buckle in together. Keep them apart. So you're working the quads, putting all that force into the muscle, not into the ligaments and joint. I'm going until I feel that burn in the front of my legs. And last one. Oh, and relax. So legs always take a little bit more out of me than arms do. So I take a minute between sets to rest. So I can feel my heart's beating pretty fast. My heart rate's about 160 right now after doing a set of legs. So because I don't want this to be limited by my heart, I'm gonna try and build my leg muscle. I'm gonna let my heart rate come back down. So I'm clearing out what's called lactic acid in the muscle, where the legs have built up lactic acid that needs to turn into carbon dioxide to breathe out. So, so I'm gonna show one stretch I've been doing over the weekend that I really like for the hamstrings. There's a lot of ways of stretching the hamstring, and this one though, I found hits that high hamstring a little bit more effectively for me, where I'm really getting that hip stretch of that high hamstring that's been tight for me. I'm really good at stretching the low hamstring down here by the knee, but this one has really hit that high hamstring much more effectively. So, going for a stiff-legged deadlift, holding one dumbbell in each hand. I'm going to slight bend in my knees, keeping my back straight, pushing my hips out to the back behind me, feeling that stretch in my hamstrings, and then back up. So this is strengthening and stretching at the same time. And then after we'll go into just a straight stretch for these hamstrings while they're all warmed up from the deadlift. Is turkey a better source of protein? The other day I didn't realize I bought turkey instead of chicken, but still had it. It was great. I'm not really aware of its protein content. So turkey and chicken are very, very similar. Where it's a complete protein, it's still gonna be great for you. It's a great source of protein. And it is a complete protein, especially very lean turkey. Turkey tends to be very lean, so very high in protein. So awesome choice. Whether you're doing chicken or turkey, both are great options. There might be a minor difference in the amount of leucine in it, which is an amino acid. I don't know that number off the top of my head, but either way, you're safe. Both are high quality sources of protein. And relax. All right, so for our hamstring stretch, what I've been liking doing is laying on my back and then right against a post, or if you don't have a post like this, you could use a door frame. So putting one foot up on the post, and I'm trying to straighten my knee as much as I can and push my foot down into the post. So I'm pushing this direction. Sorry, you can't see me in the vertical. So pushing this direction with your foot. So I'm really trying to stretch back here in the back of the thigh. Now I found this really gets much more deep into that hamstring in this position. I'm holding this for 30 seconds at a time. I've been doing this 3 times a day. So 3 times a day to get a better stretch into those hamstrings and that upper fibers of the hamstring. Personally, because this is so tight for me, it actually makes it hard for my abs to engage as much. So as I've worked on this the last couple days, suddenly I can feel my abs engaging a lot better, where they're not having to pull against hips that are being twisted in the wrong position. So I'm trying to really pull, I'm pushing my hips down to the ground as I push my leg into the post to really stretch that back of the hamstring. And then for the other side, same thing. Hips right against that post, leg up, pushing back into that post, feeling that stretch in the back of the hamstring. So I'm driving my hips down into the ground and pushing my heel into that post to feel that stretch in the back of the thigh. Now, just like any sort of muscle training, doing multiple sets of this will cause more change in that muscle. So I'm changing that muscle, I'm changing that tendon where the muscle attaches to the bone. So I'm going until I feel a little bit of discomfort and stopping there. There should be discomfort, but no pain. So if it's painful, you're a little bit too far. If you need to, you can move your hips away from the post slightly to decrease the intensity. The closer you are to that post and the straighter your knee, the more intense the stretch is gonna be. My left leg is tighter than my right leg, so my right leg can actually have my knee straighter than my left side can. So I'm going until I feel that stretch, but no pain. Now, if you want to see more stretches as part of the workout, hit that thumbs up button for me to let me know you want more stretching as part of our workout routine. B2 says, good stretching after the workout, the difference between good recovery and not being able to sit on the toilet seat, in my opinion. I'm glad that that helps you. So the science on it doesn't necessarily say that stretching changes recovery, but if it feels better to you, and it feels better to me, I think that there might be something that we haven't quite figured out in the science yet, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of years as more research is done on things like this. But I definitely agree with you. I think stretching is such a huge thing that people miss, and so that's why I'd like to include it. But let me know in the comments or by hitting that plus, that thumbs up, to let me know you want more stretching as part of the workout. Until next time though, I host these live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you there.